On today's episode, we're going to be going over the 12-step process to prep and protect your brand new car. That and more coming up on this episode of Drive and Protect.
All the way in so that they sit on touch up paint on.
Can hear it.
The new car I'll be prepping is a 2017 BMW M3. To learn how the owner did the math to negotiate $5,000 off his lease, click the link above. Now at this point in the ownership phase, let's assume you've inspected the paint and removed the plastic covers and all looks well. If you need more information about the inspection steps at the dealership itself, once again click the link above. With your car safely at home, step 1 is to gather all your tools. 3 buckets with grit guards, wash mitts, wheel brushes, foam gun, bag of towels, clay bars, various cleaners, coatings, sealants, and waxes, and a razor blade extension, to name just a few. First, fill your wheel bucket with Brute Wheel Soap. Next, fill your wash bucket with foam car soap and a few extra squirts of Boost for your first ever car wash. AMMO Boost is the car wash additive that will combat hard water stains, increase your suds or foaming, neutralize road salt, and leave behind anti-rust corrosion inhibitors to deter future oxidation. This can be especially helpful on your first wash. If you have a foam gun, this would be the time to fill it up in preparation for use. To see the full anti-corrosion experiment video on AMMO Boost, click the above link. With your wash, wheels, and rinse bucket full of water, rinse the paint out of direct sunlight with a hose or pressure washer to knock off the heavy dirt. Then, foam gun your paint, focusing on really getting into the seams as you'll be cleaning them thoroughly later. If you noticed, we didn't start cleaning the wheels first, which is standard procedure, because I'm going to remove them later for easier cleaning. However, if removing wheels is not an option for you, no problem. Then clean your wheels first before rinsing the paint and following the next steps. Allow the foam to dwell for 2 to 3 minutes to carry the heavy dirt away. Afterwards, rinse the remaining foam, then hand wash the paint from top to bottom in straight line motions with a wash mitt. It can be helpful to have 2 wash mitts in your wash bucket, one for the top areas of the car and another for the lower rocker panels, which tend to have much more dirt. This will help avoid cross-contamination and potential scratching. Likewise, use this lower area mitt to clean the door jambs, gas fill, the trunk, engine, and hood jambs as well. For tight spots like emblems, a soft bristle brush can be helpful to dislodge embedded dirt. Finally, rinse the paint again, but at this point don't dry the remaining rinse water from the surface, as you can use it as lubrication if, and I emphasize the word if, you need to clay your car next.
Now you've washed the car, rinsed it, but you haven't dried it yet. And why haven't you done that? Well, we're leaving water, standing water on the car because at this point we could potentially clay. Now before we even discuss that, there's 2 quick things. 1, it's starting to get pretty sunny outside, so you're gonna need to work fast. 2, is probably the biggest mistake of detailing is the misconception that you have to clay your paint. You do not have to clay your paint. If the paint feels rough, then you should clay your paint. But the only way that you can make the decision whether you need to clay or not is you actually have to feel it. And if it doesn't need it, you don't need to do it. So this is the biggest question I get, the most emails, that sort of thing. So it's sort of like, think of clay as the emergency room. You don't want to go to the emergency room if you don't have to. If you need it, then by all means go. But it's not something like, hey, it's Tuesday morning, I guess I need to go to the emergency room. Just like, hey, it's time to wash the car, I guess I need to clay it. So if you're asking me perspective-wise, I haven't clayed my car in years. Why? Because I haven't parked under a tree and I haven't driven in certain situations that require a clay bar. So that is like the crux of this entire video, is you really need to understand when you're using clay, because this isn't abrasive. Okay, so putting that all aside, let's assume now that we do need to clay. How do you know? You can feel it, and you would feel roughness. Like there's a little bit here and there, but this car is actually pretty good. But I'm gonna give you a demonstration right here. So assuming the car needed to be clayed, this is what you do. This is a clay piece of plastic that has a clay bar in it. This is what an actual clay bar looks like. It looks like a bar, right? So I'm gonna put that to the side. Once you take it and cut it into thirds, it begins to look like this, like a hamburger. So now I have a hamburger-shaped piece of clay. You see that? And you're still saying, well, why did we leave it wet? Well, a really cool way to to clay it is not use a clay lube. They have a special thing called clay lube. I don't think it's very necessary. You just reach into your wash bucket, which is down here. This is the one we just washed with. Remember this wash mitt? You're gonna take the wash mitt, squeeze it out with your left hand. Normally I'd be standing right around this way. And you're gonna take your clay, dunk it in. So now it's full of soap, right? And your left hand, come in, and now you can clay the paint. Now claying the paint, another sort of conception of clay is that you need to push really hard, and you don't. Clay works on friction, meaning going back and forth very quickly, not putting pressure down. Now, the next step is when it becomes all gritted up and all gross, and you can see little dots and little things in there, you're gonna need to knead it. That's funny, you're gonna need to knead it. Get a nice fresh piece, hamburger shape, nice and flat like this, and continue on to the next area. So that's sort of how clay works, but the big point is only clay your paint if you need to. If for some reason you drop this on the ground and it gets little bits of rocks in it because it's sticky, throw it away. That's just how it works. Otherwise, you're going to scratch your paint. So once you do the entire car, it should take 5-10 minutes. Claying does not take a long time. It's not a big deal. It doesn't have all this hype that it seems to be out there. So if you guys know this, you know 99% more than most. So clay it when you're done with claying it. If you don't need it, great. If you do need it, fine. Move on to the next step.
Claying your paint isn't a very long process. A standard car should take about 10 minutes to complete. Once you're done with the clay bar, rinse it in water to remove the soap, and then put it back in the plastic bin for next use. Afterwards, I quickly wash and feel for any missed spots and then rinse once again, in case any lifted contaminants are just laying on the surface of the paint. This is probably overkill, but it takes about 2 minutes to do. Next, dry your paint without using AMMO Hydrate Moisturizer for this very first drying session, because we're going to potentially need to polish the paint, and we're definitely going to need to add AMMO Reflex Foundation coating in the future, so instead use a damp microfiber towel, compressed air, or a blower to remove the remaining water. With the paint clean and dry, take the wheels off one at a time with a jack or with a quick jack system that allows you to do all 4 wheels at once. If removing wheels is not your thing, that's totally cool. Then follow the steps with the wheels on your car the best you can. With the wheels off the car, heavily rinse them, then add AMMO Plum Wheel Cleaner and agitate with your wheel brush and wheel wash mitt. To clean the inner barrel, it's helpful to have thick foam blocks to prevent scratching the face and lip of the rim. These are also great as a kneeling pad while you're working as well. Repeat the same cleaning steps on the inside, and then afterwards clay the barrel with an old piece of clay bar that will not be used again on the paint. Next, rinse and dry the wheels thoroughly, then apply 2 coats of AMMO Reflex, buff clean, and allow to cure while leaning against the wall while we're working on the calipers and wheel wells. Again, if you're not taking the wheels off the car, then just try to keep the rims as dry as possible during the curing phase and skip the next step. Although your brakes should be relatively clean, give them a quick scrub with Plum and Brute before drying. If you have prominent calipers that are painted and clear coated like the ones on this BMW, then add 2 coats of Reflex here as well. But remember, this area gets super hot, so a consistent cleaning regimen is vital. Lastly, if your wheel wells are hard plastic, put some AMMO Mud tire dressing to enhance the deep, rich look. Step 7 is to correct the paint if it needs to be corrected, and obviously this is different for every single car. Some are swirl-free upon dealer delivery, while others have swirls everywhere after the plastic is removed. My hope is that you can skip this step altogether because you don't want to compound and polish, especially if it's not necessary. But if your new car looks like this brand new GT3 RS, then click the link to watch the step-by-step process of new car swirl removal. And after closer inspection of our BMW here, there's a bird poo stain or etching that needs to be addressed before moving to the next step.
All right, before we move on to step 7, which is compounding and polishing the paint, I want to back up just a little bit and talk about step 6, which is the wheels. Now, I went the full Monty, which is totally crazy, insane, lifted the car up, took all the wheels off, I'm putting multiple coats of protection on the whole thing. I know a lot of you are saying, I'm not doing that, I'm not jacking up my car. All right, I get it. Just at very minimum, clean the wheels and put some protection on it and you're good to go. I did this part because it's kind of fun and I know a lot of people out there will want to do this step, so I did the full thing. You choose what works best for you. Okay, step 7, compounding and polishing the paint. I'm going to put another link here. This is when I looked at the car when we first bought it and it looked fantastic. This paint is actually really good. The little kind of weird part is when he took it home, I think we had maybe 2 or 3 days until he came here, whatever it was, and he was driving around because he's excited and it's an M3 and it's awesome, totally cool, and a bird hit it, a bird bomb, and he said he wiped it off really quickly. Yeah, how long? Half an hour, who knows, but it didn't look like anything. That's what he was saying. So when I pulled it up here, sure enough, there is a bird stain. So normally, since I don't have to compound and polish, it's sort of similar to the claying part. If it doesn't need to be clayed, don't clay it. I did this as an example, just for everybody. And compounding and polish, normally we would just skip to the next step, but this is going to be kind of a little bit of a bonus section where I'm going to show you how to take out bird stain. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is you got to get protection on the wheels and the paint as soon as humanly possible. This, look at this. See, it's, I mean, there's nothing on it. It's very, very sticky. Meaning there's no protection on it, and when the bird hit it, it just etched through the paint. So I'll show you the quick step-by-step process to remove a bird stain before we get into step 8. So let's hop into it.
With the lights back on, the stain becomes harder to spot, so leave a piece of tape to remember exactly where the damage resides. Use a microfiber cutting pad on a Rupes polisher. Prime the microfiber pad with compound by rubbing the liquid into every fiber by hand. Next, apply 1 small dot of compound, place the machine on the stain on speed 2 for roughly 30 to 40 seconds. This will vary from paint to paint. Wipe the compound clean with a microfiber towel and repeat these steps with a yellow Rupes foam pad and polish afterwards. Remember, polishing typically takes twice as long as compounding, so take your time to remove the compounding or sanding marks, and every car and paint job is different, so notice what the paint is telling you as you're buffing. At this point, the paint should be perfect, whether by restoring it or perfect finish directly from the factory. It's now time to protect the paint. Keep in mind, if you did in fact need to compound and polish your car, you'll now need to use a 50-50 mixture of isopropyl alcohol and water to remove the remaining oils from the polish before applying Reflex. Apply the first coat of Reflex with a foam applicator pad. Prime the pad with the product and squeeze the pad until every pore is full. Much the same as the wheels, apply Reflex and allow 3 to 4 minutes before wiping it off with a microfiber towel. Reflex can be applied on the paint, black trim, moldings, headlights, and exhaust tips, and don't forget the door jambs and kick panel as well. Repeat these steps and add a second coat of Reflex before allowing at least 1 hour to cure. While both the paint and wheels are curing, let's focus on the interior and the glass. If you keep the original seat cover in the seat back, you'll use it in the future if you're dirty or wet or you're giving your car to your mechanic. First, remove the mats and lightly mist them with fabric guard. Then, leave them outside of the car to dry. Repeat these steps for the carpet on the inside and the cloth seats. Keep in mind these products can be helpful, but they're by no means perfect, so proper and regular maintenance is far more important. If you have leather seats, apply AMMO mousse to feed and protect its suppleness. At the very minimum, focus on the driver's side seat bolster, as this will take the most abuse. For step 11, focus on the glass to allow even more time for the carpet to dry and for Reflex to cure. With a razor blade extension, slowly remove the window sticker. Using constant down pressure is best. Gouging or stabbing at the window sticker will only make a mess. If glue remains on the window after you remove the sticker, add a light mist of glass cleaner and slowly slide the razor blade along the glass at a 45-degree angle. By doing this, the glue will collect on the edge of the razor. Then, wipe the blade with a paper towel and repeat the process. Once all the stickers and glue is gone, clean the glass with the 3-towel method. The first towel is called the throwaway towel. This picks up the heavy junk quickly. Your glass will not look pretty after the first step, but that's okay. Next, use towel number 2, which is a low-pile glass towel. The trick is to spray the cleaner on the towel itself and then wipe the glass. Then immediately follow up with the third clean microfiber towel to quickly buff any remaining water that will cause streaks or water spotting as it dries. Repeat this process on all the glass.
Okay, now that you're done with all the glass and you use the 3-towel method, I know you may be going backwards saying, hey man, that's a lot of towels. It's actually going to save you a ton of time. That first towel picks up a lot of that heavy junk that you don't want to get into the second towel, which is your nice, beautiful, clean glass towel. And then the third one is, of course, just to buff it off to remove or to decrease any chance of getting those water spots or streaks or things like that. So The interior glass is a whole different beast. You're basically going to use the same technique that we did on the outside, but you're going to add one in the beginning. Why do you do that? Well, a lot of these new cars have plastic dashboards or leather dashboards. What happens is they release gases, and sometimes they call them plasticizers, and they hit the inside of the windshield. We've all seen it. It turns yellow and hazy, and you're like, what the heck is going on? It's a brand new car. Well, that's going to happen, and that's common. It's normal, and it's going to happen over time, probably for 6 months, 8 months, as it's sort of releasing these gases as the sun hits the dashboard and heats it up, that sort of thing. So what we need to do is degrease that first. If you remember a few steps ago, if we had compounded and polished, or if there was wax on the car, and if you're doing, maybe it's not even a new car, you're just doing an old car and you want to do this whole, all these steps, that's great. But if there's wax on it, you have to remove it with 50% isopropyl alcohol and 50% water. This is the mix that I have. I keep it on the shelf. I use it all the time to clean things up. But you use this with a scrub pad. I'll show you the steps in a second. You spray it on here, and the first step is to degrease all the oils that are being released from the dashboard. Then you go in with the first towel, the second towel, and the third towel method, and that will really decrease the the streaks that you'll see at night. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And just be aware that it is going to happen on a regular basis, especially with a new car with these new plastic and leather dashboards.
Finally, add the last layer of wheel gelée over the front and back of the wheels and the caliper if you have access to them. Likewise, add AMMO skin on top of the 2 previous coats of Reflex on the paint. Layering skin over Reflex is like putting a shell or a windbreaker over your North Face jacket. It protects the fleece underneath, or in our case, it protects the Reflex, which in turn is protecting the body of your car. For more information and the step-by-step process, watch the How to Apply Reflex video and maintenance interval at the very end of that particular video. Finally, I added a quick layer of mud tire dressing to the wheels before pulling it outside to double-check my work.
As I'm sure you know, getting a new car is a huge deal in a car guy's life, and an M3 is no exception. This thing is amazing. So obviously I put the wheels back on, lowered it down, pulled it back out of the garage, and inspected the paint in the sun, because it's starting to get sunny now, and anything that's exposed, anything that's left over will jump right out at you. So I did that. Afterwards, I put the AMMO stickers on the back. That's my buddy, and I just love seeing a car whistle down the street with AMMO on it. Sticker. That's really cool. It means a lot to me. Oh, and what I did for him is I put the window sticker in a frame. Yeah, it's super dorky and weird, but when you're a car guy, these things mean a lot to you, and I'm going to surprise him with that later on. As always, if you have any questions, shoot me an email at larry@ammonyc.com, specifically about the steps. We went crazy overboard on the steps. Just pick and choose what it is that you want to do. You can leave the wheels on. You don't have to jack the car up. Just have some fun with it. I went to the full Monty here, but at the end of the day, make sure you protect the paint so there's no bird bombs and things like that. You can also visit my website at ammonyc.com for more how-to car care videos. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.